So thank you for joining us again today for another South Shore Business Spotlight. And I'm here with Brandy Evans. Brandy is the CEO of Kennco Manufacturing, located here in Ruskin. So Brandy, thank you very much for coming.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Now, a lot of people probably are not familiar with Kennco. What is it that Kennco does?
We manufacture farm equipment, specifically for raised bed farming or plastic culture, which in layman's terms, if you're driving down the roads and you see those long rows of plastic on farms or long rows of plants, we make the equipment that goes behind the tractor that makes the beds or the rows, that lays the plastic, sprays, and we have a full line of equipment from field prep to cleanup. So all the equipment that goes behind the tractor.
So all of the tomato beds, the strawberry things that we see, the plastic.
Correct. Peppers, melons, and they're blueberries. They're branching out into all sorts of things.
So you are helping feed us.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
When did Kennco begin?
Ken McElwain started it back in 1973, and then joined forces with my dad, Robin Knowles, and they built it from there. Obviously, back then there was a lot of tomato fields, growers in the area. They worked specifically with them, started designing new equipment specific to the tomato needs, and it grew from there.
So it mostly started local?
Yes.
Okay, but you've expanded dramatically?
It all started locally, but yes, now we ship our equipment all over the world.
Okay. And what roles have you played over the years?
Well, if you go way back to when I was 15 and came into the office, I would file and do all sorts of silly stuff. But after college, I left, went to DC, and I came back, started working in the accounting department, doing accounts receivables, things like that. Then, but I've always been kind of a take charge kind of person and just started taking on more and more. And when it came time to see that my dad wanted to retire, I asked if I could buy out some stock and stepped in. Here we are.
And for those who probably don't know, you and I had the pleasure of working together and serving on the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. So we got to see the character and integrity you have. So it's good to see.
Thanks.
Now, where are you from originally?
I grew up in Apollo Beach, Florida, right here.
A native Floridian.
Native, yes, nice. Born and raised.
And before we jump into some business questions, what's something outside of business that you enjoy? Do you travel, family, hobbies, anything specific?
Well, I have a 6-year-old daughter, so she takes up a lot of my time. Soccer games and Girl Scouts and things like that. I enjoy being a mom, and that was one of the main things when I came back down from DC. And the pleasures of being the boss is that you get to have a bit of that flexibility to be the soccer mom and the school chaperone. So I enjoy being a wife and a mom, and we travel around where we can. A lot of it's to Disney World or the zoo, but that's it.
So you sell Girl Scout cookies then?
Yes, we did pretty well.
Good. So becoming the CEO a few years ago,
mm-hmm.
right? What have you enjoyed most about that role?
I guess just being able to make the decisions and kind of bring everybody together on the path that I see us going, and just trying to keep everyone driving in the same direction and watching us thrive, and taking care of the guys and gals that work for us, and I have lots of hands in the pot, lots of my fingers in a variety of things. So one day I get to do marketing, the next day it's internet stuff, the next day it's insurance. So it's never boring.
Mm-hmm. What's probably been one of the more satisfying moments since taking the lead at Kennco? Any changes or anything that you've seen a transition or anything implemented?
Gosh, over years, it's hard to pinpoint one type of thing because you're doing lots of little things every day that, when you look, if you were able to go back in time and look 5 years ago, you can say, wow, we've come so far. But to pinpoint one minor thing, we haven't moved, we haven't done anything like that.
So constant
improvement. We've had some of our best years. And ultimately, I'm a daughter. I want to make my dad proud. And grow what he and Ken started, and make sure that I'm taking it into a positive direction and growing in a positive way, and continuing that.
Now, is he still heavily engaged? Is he engaged at all?
Yes, he is engaged. His engagement has tapered off as he's, I think, become more comfortable with letting some of the reins go, and he's enjoying more of his retirement. But I think at first it was kind of like, giving over the keys to your Ferrari to your 16-year-old, like, make sure you don't dent it, and how are you driving?
So does he, either in the past or now, does he kind of pull you to the side and say, here's what I would do, or does he let go? Yeah, so he's
he comes in, and because he still has stake in the company, he still owns some stock, so he gets the financials, and he'll look at it and go, I want to put my 2 cents in here. And he was involved for 40 years, so when I have a insurance battle, he goes, I've been through that one, let me tell you.
It's nice to have a little bit of, okay, well, good. I know I've seen a lot of businesses with family. It can be a challenge. It's always nice to see when they, there's still going to be some friction here and there, but it's nice to see when it actually works well. What about challenges maybe that you've faced in the past few years that you've learned from, or that you've grown from?
Challenges are, I think the biggest challenges are always people. Personalities, dealing with internal personality conflicts, or, customer wants this, salesman wants to do that. Can we achieve said goal? And making sure everybody's working in the same direction, and everyone wants to do their best, but sometimes we have to make sure it's always best for the company. And
so how have you learned? Are there books you read? Are there meetings you take? Is it just from other people? How do you learn how to navigate that? Because that's usually not something that people just, oh yes, I'm great with people.
I think I just watch people, and everyone is different. I've learned that even sometimes we have oil and water with people don't mix, but the more that they communicate and are forced to work together, they can see, okay, this person is like this all the time. It's not directed at me. I shouldn't take it personally. And they learn to see how people are as human beings, and but there's lots of different personalities in the world, and I don't get ruffled by them. Other people do. I don't.
So talking about team, about how large is the team at Kennco?
We range from 25 to 30 people, depending on the variety of factors, how busy we are, or positions that are vacant, things like that.
Okay. Is that mostly here? Is that spread out? I don't know.
No, that's all right here in Ruskin. Okay. So right now we have 25 people employed here in Ruskin.
Okay. So what does and I know this is always a tough question for people, but what would a typical day or a week look like for you? What are some key things that, we always make sure we do this, or I make sure I do this, typical day or week?
Well, I'm always checking the bank, making sure what money's coming in, coming out. When we get new orders, we always review the orders, because most growers want their equipment specific to them. So we have a lot of meetings to review orders. What's different about this? Why do they want it like this instead of like that? How can we get there? Meeting with engineers, and then pushing it out through production. We've got, a purchasing has to get all the material here, then it has to go through a variety of shops. So I have a production manager that manages all those moving pieces, and then I kind of just make sure I know what's going on, so that I can keep the sales abreast and make sure, well, we got to talk to the customer about this and advise them differently.
So it sounds as if you're not just selling a product, you're literally manufacturing like per that particular customer.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
That's a big undertaking.
Yeah, as you know, people who aren't involved in farming think it's, put a seed in the ground, watch it grow. There's a lot involved in it, and it's constantly changing with regulations, costs for diesel or labor. They're always trying to get more yield with lower cost, and that's what we do, is we make equipment that lowers their cost. So it's always trying new things, and different growers have different ways of doing it. And
So what would you say is one of the things that helps set Kennco apart from some of the competitors out there?
A few big ones are, one, that we have a full line of equipment. There's a lot of farm equipment manufacturers that might specialize in just sprayers or just bed making equipment. We do it all, so a customer can come to us and get every single thing they need. Another thing that sets us apart is that we customize. We're not an out of the box IKEA package that they can put together, and we can distribute it to a variety of distributors, and they all have it sitting on the floor. We build it for the customer specs. We also build our stuff very sturdy and very durable, so it lasts a long time, which can be a detriment, but because they don't need to repair it much.
What skills, I guess, would you say that either you've developed since being at Kennco or in the role, or what skills do you think are very important for someone who will be running a business or starting a business?
Well, I've learned a lot about accounting. I've learned a lot about insurance, health insurance, all that. I've learned a ton. I think it's important to know what you know, but also seek specialists. I'm not a website person. I'm not going to try to do the website. I'm going to outsource that. I don't know insurance. I'm going to find the right person that I can trust to handle that. But the hard part is always, in a smaller company, the individuals, the employees. We're like family, but ultimately Kennco is the most important thing, making sure Kennco is healthy. So if hard decisions need to be made affecting those individuals, you have to make them early, you have to know what you have to do, and you just have to handle it. You can't wait, you can't, I know so-and-so needs said job. Everyone needs the job, and sometimes you have to make tough decisions for the benefit of the whole.
Speaking of family, you guys did a great job. You had a cook-off. Had some judges, and I got to come and judge and eat. But those kind of things, I think, make a difference in the family aspect. But yes, you still have to balance. If the company doesn't survive and thrive, then nobody has a job.
Right.
So tough decisions. So if you had any advice for someone who is maybe about to take the reins of a company, maybe a family company, maybe another company, or start a company, any advice that you would offer to them?
Be 100% sure you want to go down the path. You can't be wishy-washy if you're going to go all in. You have to go all in and put your heart and soul into it, and be ready to sacrifice your home, sacrifice your car, sacrifice things if things don't turn out. So there's some sleepless nights, but the rewards are great. So just knowing what you're getting into, and especially with family, you have to have good relationships with your family. My sister works with me too, so I have my dad and my sister, and it all works out great for us. We have no problems, but I hear time and time again with family, it's not so easy. So we are lucky in that regard.
I was going to say, I think you're lucky, but clearly it sounds like a good family as well.
Yeah,
so, as we wrap things up, is there anybody that comes to mind in terms of maybe somebody you admire, whether it's someone you met personally, whether it's someone from afar that you've watched and tried to learn from, anybody that comes to mind?
Well, I think the people that influenced me most, that I would have to say admire, are my parents. My mom and dad both influenced me, and I admired they were both different, but a perfect combination to make good kids, good parents together. My mom was successful in what she did. My dad was successful in what he did. So just watching the average people around me do, be good moms, be good dads, good managers.
That's a good role model to have.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, thank you very much, Brandy. I appreciate you coming today.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
So there's another quick edition in the South Shore Business Series. Have a wonderful day.